The top 10 Zelda dungeons is actually a video we wanted to do from the very beginning, but we originally put our listings together, like they were just so different.
They really were, and there was no way that either of us wanted to like give up that
number one spot.
We were never going to agree on that.
So originally we were only going to do an individual ranking and leave it at that, but then we came up with a genius idea, the point system.
Which why we never came up with that sooner.
We should have started with that from the beginning, and what we did was we took our top 20 dungeons, and that's how we came up with this top 10.
And we didn't really have any set criteria for how we came up with our ranking, which we really don't for any of our
we
rankings.
never do that.
But we just thought about what dungeons were the most memorable to us or that stood out the most to us.
Now remember, this just is our opinions, and you'll see that we disagree across all of our rankings, so it's just for fun. You might not see things the same way we do, but that's what's fun about Zelda.
And if you do want to check out our individual ranking videos, though, there will be links to them at the end of this video.
This is our top 10 Zelda dungeons.
Let's go to the video. Getting shot out of a cannon and landing in the city in the sky is not really what I saw happening in this game.
But I mean, Twilight Princess was a huge land area game, and then they take you up here and it felt so new for at
the time.
Yeah, at the time.
Now, I just love the concept of having nothing below you but the open sky and clouds. It really makes it feel like you could fall to your death at any time.
And this place has a really mysterious feel to it. I think the theme goes along really well with that.
Me too. And I just really love how, going along with it being mysterious, it looks so futuristic.
Yes.
You got these fans and everything holding it up. It looks great. And
then one thing we always love is the whole inside and outside areas that we get to go to. There's a lot of outside area in this dungeon.
Now, Argarok is one of our top 5 Zelda bosses. Totally.
Yes, he's awesome.
Just fighting a dragon in this great outdoor arena is so much fun.
And then we get the storm and lightning during the second stage right there, and then climbing all the way up these pillars, just a lot of verticality.
And then, man, hookshot into the dragon's back and stabbing him with your sword is just an epic way to end the fight.
I think what made this dungeon great was the time shift stone mechanic.
Yes.
It was just so awesome seeing a place in the past that kind of looked futuristic.
And I just really love that contrast. Like, we have this dull brown, and then once we hit that stone, it all just pops and comes to life.
And there's a lot of color, really. I mean, like the treadmills, there's so much working, so much technology going on in the place in the past.
And going along with that, I like how the enemies are like these robots and stuff.
Yes.
And even the people who live there were also little robots too.
Now, I wasn't a huge fan of the item, but I liked how it's using this dungeon to had those statues bring their tongue out and then also get across platforms.
Now, and I thought the boss was just kind of a big, scary looking scorpion.
It's a huge scorpion. I mean, you've got to be terrified, but I actually like how the motion controls were used to beat up its claws.
And then also using the gust bellow to make him pop back up out of the sand so you can attack him again, I thought was a great use for the gust bellow.
I agree with you. Not the best boss, but overall very strong.
I love the idea of using the medallion to open up Turtle Rock, and also it was just a great visual for the Super Nintendo.
I thought it was kind of a difficult dungeon. I like that being one of the last dungeons in the game.
Well, riding those platforms and also riding through the pipes, it's almost like a maze. There's so many different directions you can take.
And I actually love the pipes. The mechanic didn't really make sense of how it gets through it, but I did really like that about the dungeon.
I love popping outdoors for just a second. We're barely outside for very long, but it looks really cool.
And then also the pipe maze room you have, you'll see lava right here below. I just love that look.
Well, it's such a great contrast.
Screw this room. Screw this room.
Most of this dungeon, we are going over these black pits, but I like seeing that lava. I agree with you.
And then how about the build-up right here with the 6 pillars with the torches? Just a great build-up to it, the boss.
And then the fight with Trinex himself, I was a little surprised to use fire and ice against his 2 heads. I wasn't expecting that.
And then we take snake form right here. Just kind of dodging was actually a lot of fun. Dear gods, if you give me a challenge, I'm going to accept it, I'm going to defeat it, and I'm going to get my Master Sword, and that's exactly what this place is right here.
I love the concept of it being a challenge, and I also really love that the first area is almost like a water-based dungeon.
Yes, I agree with you, and the water in the HD remake just really look beautiful. I think it goes really well with the stone walls and the wall decor.
And how about the theme? You mentioned it's the gods.
I love this theme.
It sounds like gods chanting and humming it.
And I love the whole mechanic of having 3 statues, you gotta take them all back to the center main hub.
Me too. I love the use of scales here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was cool, but it could
was
also be a
different.
pain a little bit. Then this outside area right here and be able to
beautiful.
see like all the way over the ocean was just really amazing.
And then Godin, just this very futuristic boss and futuristic room based in a stone tower this whole time.
All the neon lights and shooting his hands with the arrows, shooting his eyes with the arrows, and then throwing bombs in his mouth. That was just really fun.
If I ever decide to go exploring a dungeon myself, I can only hope it's as beautiful as the ancient Cistern.
And this music also comes along with it. That makes it very peaceful,
It
a
does.
little bit relaxing, so you're not stressing out on your adventure.
Plus, I love the giant golden statue.
That was
in the
stupid,
middle.
but you know, I was feeling it, but you know, go ahead though.
And how about like also the water? It's like it's like very beautiful visual.
Now the whip, I'm not a huge fan of the item, but I like how it's used in this dungeon.
I'm a huge fan of it outside of the game.
Yes. Okay, me too. Yes.
But I love like the contrast when you go into the dark underground area and climbing that rope.
And then this statue right here really looks like a god, and it also adds verticality to the dungeon.
And then Galactos, one of our all-time favorite boss fights. It's just such a well-done
Now
fight.
you don't hear the music right here, but the music going with him, and then also taking off his arms, wiping out his legs, slicing his chest.
And then also like the room has that gold and purple. It has the contrast that matches the entire rest of the dungeon. Very good touch.
You give me a place that looks like the Roman Coliseum from the outside,
yeah.
and I know it's going to be good, and this place was.
And I just love how it came together, like that sandy desert area outside, and you come in, and it's this run-down looking ruin. I thought it was well done.
And I love the whole undead theme going on in this place. It goes really well with the backstory we got before entering this dungeon.
I know, I like the fact that it was like an abandoned prison for the worst criminals in Hyrule. And how about this undead mini-boss?
Yeah, Death's Sword. He's a really fun mini-boss. And then the item we get from him, the spinner, our favorite item in the whole Zelda series.
I just love riding these rails like higher and higher, jumping back and forth.
Using the gear, like spinning the gears right there to open the door, and then the spiral railway leading up to our favorite boss in the entire series.
I just love like this giant pit we fight him in. Riding the rail down through enemies to bust out his spine is a great time.
like I just like dodging all those enemies. There was a lot of them. And then the second phase of the boss fight, one of my favorite times in any boss fight, going up, jumping from side to side. It was just so much fun.
I like how this dungeon really brings together all the concepts we've used throughout Majora's Mask, especially the fact that we get to use all three transformation masks.
Now, one thing that we usually don't bring up that I am going to now is the theme.
Boy, we never bring
that up. But it's one of my favorite. Actually, it is my favorite dungeon theme in this series.
I also liked how there was two mini bosses. We get two items.
Yes.
It really feels like it's like the epic getting near the end of the game.
And then how about flipping the dungeon upside down concept? It made the whole second half feel like a new dungeon.
And how about the visual of just having the entire open sky below us, especially when we're flying over it as Deku Link.
It still sticks with me to this day. Now, one thing I kind of wish, like we get the Giant's Mask at the end of this dungeon, I wish we used it more than just in the boss fight that we get right here.
It does make the boss fight feel pretty epic though, because we're
does.
stomping around down here.
And the sound he makes,
It's awesome. And I also liked how you get to attack both his head and his tail.
I'm usually not a fan of eerie places, but went really well with this dungeon. I think that's because it's the first adult dungeon in the game.
And I really like how it feels like it used to be something here, like an abandoned mansion or temple, something out in the middle of nowhere.
And like one question, why is it all the way out here? I always found myself asking that, but then like also like all the forced vegetation growing off the walls and everything just made it look really beautiful.
And I liked fighting the Poe sisters. And how about these twisted corridors though?
It changed the layout, so it didn't make it like new, but it just like it kind of felt a little bit new in a way.
It did, and then like using the puzzle blocks to fight the third Poe, and then the fourth here in the main central chamber.
And this room right here, this room could be a little confusing.
It could be.
But then the boss right here, just a very fun boss with him, like the image of him run down the path of those paintings was just amazing.
I love the mask he wears.
Yes, that's a very good point. And then also hitting the light orbs back at him, like, you know, it kind of sets it up for the final boss in a way. We're
fighting robot pirates on a giant ship in the middle of a desert.
A sand sea. It's not even a desert, it's a sand sea. But that concept works, and then how about the mini boss right here? Flying on the bow with that view in the background. I just love that part.
And I love that they brought back the time shift stones from the
Agreed.
mining facility, and just seeing the ship and the ocean around it come to life is a great visual.
And then like walking around and riding around the top of the ship right here, and then also the views you get from that, just I don't know, like it's the whole inside outside like concept that we always love in dungeons.
And I love everything on this ship comes to life. You see us hitting these switches. We were riding the lifeboats earlier. It just really pops.
And then how about the lead to the boss right here, trying to dodge these barrels, and then we get outside and it's like stormy area, find a huge boss.
Now I absolutely suck at Skyward Strike, so I struggled horribly with this boss. Not my favorite.
Now you know we've hit the eye on the boss before, but the fact that it had one eye and it was huge, just actually I didn't mind it that much at all. One of my favorite things about this dungeon is being able to go through it as Child Link and then also Adult Link.
And going along with that, like the fact that we get 2 dungeon items from it,
yes.
I thought, and fight the mini boss several times as well.
And then also, you know, it's a desert dungeon. We're huge fans of like most of the desert dungeons.
We are.
And then like getting that sun and the light concept also adds to that deserty feel, in my opinion.
I love the giant statue and that main central
agreed.
Like a great main feature to the dungeon.
And then getting the 2 items outside of the statue and then the views that it delivered was really spectacular.
And the use of mirrors. I mean, I know you mentioned the light,
yes.
But moving the mirrors around to hit these switches to get light to new areas and lowering that
platform. That platform was a ton of fun right there. And then Twin Robo, just an awesome boss fight.
It was. I love the idea of using fire back at ice and vice versa, especially when she combines into her single form.
I know, like charging up your shield right there and then blasting it back at her, then jumping across and hitting this big old girl really with your sword was just a lot of fun.
With over 1,000 Zelda videos currently, if you're a fan of the series, you should click the red subscribe button to check us out. It'll send you to our YouTube channel.
You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at the following names.
And we've actually each created our own Top 10 Zelda Dungeons video that you can check out to see our individual rankings. The video on the left will send you to Hicks, and the video on the right will send you to Reds.
Also, by clicking on either one of those videos, it will send you to a playlist where you'll be able to see all of our ranking videos.